Thank you for tuning in to Learning with Lee. This is our July session of Learning with Lee. We're going to go over some things to plan for the second half of the year, some things that will pop up in the next few months that we need to be cautious of so that we can make the right decisions for our kids and for our family. All right, so going into the second half of the year, I think the number one thing that's on everyone's mind right now is back to school. Most of our kids are already back into school or start in the next few weeks. So some things I wanted to point out that we should be thinking about are what are some school activities that are going to be upcoming that we need to budget for or plan for. One of the first things I think about is sports. I always played sports as a kid. So shoes or uniforms or sometimes different camps and things cost money. So how are we budgeting for that so that we can set our children up for success or give them the opportunities that we might not have had? So one thing to look at is budgeting for that, making sure you have a success plan in place for your kids so that you can help them throughout their school and keep them doing positive things rather than things they shouldn't be doing. Another thing, I never partook in these when I was going to school, but dances are always something that happens in high school. Got, probably homecoming coming up in the first few months of school and things like that. I know that gets expensive with renting tuxedos or dresses or buying dresses or different outfits and things of that nature. So making sure that if your kids are at that stage of life, that you're prepared and ready for those events as well. And other things that can come up as far as field trips or different expenses at school that we might not be thinking about right now is how do I put some money aside to make sure that my kids have the best experience possible. So just a few things to think about during this back to school time, understanding what expenses can be coming up now that our kids are back in school and that we're prepared for them financially. So set a budget, make a goal, understand how much money you want to put aside each month or maybe every other month, whatever works for you, but have a plan to set some money aside so your kids can have a great time at school this year. Talking about the second half of the year, something that I started thinking about recently is Christmas time. My daughter's been talking about snow. I don't know why, because it's 110 degrees outside, but she wants to go see snow. So we started talking about Christmas and looking at the calendar. We only have about 5 months until it's Christmas time. So setting a plan and a budget for Christmas spending is a good time to start now. If you only have 5 months and you can only save $50 a month for that, that gives you about $250 for Christmas time. So thinking about that ahead of time will help save some of the credit card debt like we've talked about in the past. And then also on the flip side, if you financed last year's Christmas gifts, are you ending that promotion that we talked about where you had 0% for 12 months or anything like that? Are we making sure our bills are paid off before we're starting to put more money on our credit card? Or have we even thought about that Christmas could be around the corner? Some other things to look at for Christmas time is sales ahead of the holidays. So there's Labor Day sales, Black Friday sales, Prime Day sales, things like that. Taking advantage of those opportunities will help you save money so that you can give your family or your kids or whoever's in your life the best Christmas or holidays that they can have. So making sure that we're aware of the time of year. The second half of the year is probably the most expensive part of the year because we are all looking at different holidays that are coming up and spending time and money with our families. So make sure that you budget for it and start with a plan. Lastly, I wanted to follow up with second half of the year kind of economic outlook on some things that we've talked about in prior videos. So we talked about the big one, tariffs, that everyone was in panics about a few months ago. Definitely the talks have died down, but now that those tariffs are being enforced, there are things that are going to actually start hitting our radar. So now into the end of the year and possibly into the upcoming next year, we're going to start seeing increases on the price of our goods. Most companies are having these tariffs hit their books now, so that means prices are going to start to increase. So this is another form of inflation, something else that we've talked about in our videos. So just making sure that we understand that prices are going to go up and how are we going to handle that in our budget. Understanding what we're buying, what's a need and what's a want, and making sure we're making the best financial decisions will help us go through some of these economic times that we have at the end of the year. Other things to consider at the end of the year with the tariffs and inflation and different things like that going on, interest rates are going to be another big thing that are going to be talked about. We've talked about it on credit cards and things of that in the past, but interest rates on loans, credit cards, housing, all that could be changing at the end of the year depending on how people are spending money over these next few months once inflation starts to hit with the tariffs being in effect. So make sure that we're understanding when we're financing anything, what those interest rates are, what your APR is, understanding how far your money is going and how much you actually pay in the bank to borrow that money is going to help you in the long-term success and set you up for the best future for yourself, for your children, for your family. So making sure that you're reading the fine print and understanding how long your loan terms are, what the actual APR is. Are you getting the best option, and are you shopping for different loans or just signing up for the first thing because it sounds like a good deal? Please make sure you take the time to do your research before signing any paperwork on any type of loan or buying any major purchase, and understanding that there are good times to do this and certain times of the year that are bad times. So read some articles, get out there on the internet, ask ChatGPT, do something other than just signing papers as soon as someone puts them in front of your face. So make good financial decisions and enjoy the second half of the year. Thank you for tuning in with Learning with Lee for the month of July. We appreciate you tuning in monthly and seeing these videos. Please make sure when you tune in and watch these videos that you put some of the information we're providing into practice. The better that you understand what we're talking about, or putting it in your personal life, or asking your kids questions, that's only going to help you reach the financial goals that you have. So if you have any questions or want additional content based on what we're going over or information, definitely reach out to the link below. I'd be more than happy, or anybody on the Dream Center staff, we can look at this information and send out flyers or bulletins or work with you directly to help achieve any kind of goals that you're looking to do or provide some insight. We're not professionals in this field. We're just sharing knowledge that we've gained over the years of working with different families, or individual stories that we have throughout our own lives. So take some time to put it into practice. And if you have questions, please reach out. Once again, thanks for tuning in with Learning with Lee. Hope you have a good one.